The call came just after midnight. A voice, flat, official. "Sir, we found your 3-year-old nephew. Please come pick him up." I sat up in bed. The sentence didn't make sense. "I don't have a nephew," I said. A pause, the kind that stretches thin, like glass about to crack. "Please come," the officer repeated. "He keeps asking for you." I almost didn't go. But curiosity is its own kind of hunger. When I arrived at the station, the child was sitting alone on a bench. Blonde hair, blue eyes, a small red toy car in his hand. He looked up when I stepped in. His eyes mirrored mine. My breath stalled. It wasn't recognition, it was resemblance. Too much of it. The officer smiled lightly. "He says his name is Liam." My stomach turned cold. That was the name my wife once said she'd give our firstborn. Driving home, I couldn't stop hearing her voice from years ago. "If it's a boy, we'll call him Liam." We never had children. She told me she couldn't. At home, she was waiting by the window, robe tied carelessly, pretending to be surprised by my early return. I told her about the call, about the boy, about the name. She froze. Just for a fraction of a second, but I saw it. The kind of stillness that only comes from fear. "Strange coincidence," she said softly, pouring herself wine. "The world's full of them." Her hand trembled slightly. Not enough for most people to notice, but I've lived with her long enough to measure the tremor between lies. That night, she didn't touch me. She turned away before sleep. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe. Every inhale felt rehearsed, every exhale calculated. And deep inside me, something cold began to wake. Over the next week, I played along, smiled when I had to. She asked if I was still thinking about that kid. I said no, but I was. I requested a DNA test, quietly. The officer had kept a record of the boy. A small swab was all it took. I told them it was for legal documentation. They didn't ask questions. I started watching her, not obsessively, strategically. She deleted messages late at night. She laughed too softly when her phone lit up. Sometimes she'd step outside to take a call. I'd watch her silhouette in the window, body angled just slightly away, as if guarding the conversation from me. At breakfast, she asked if I was okay. "Of course," I said, and smiled. The results came 2 days later. The envelope sat on my desk like a live wire. I didn't open it right away. I just stared at my name on the label, feeling the pulse in my jaw. When I finally tore it open, the world fell into a perfect, suffocating silence. 99.98% match. Not as father, as uncle. Meaning my brother was the father. My wife was the mother. That evening, I invited her to dinner. Candlelight, red wine, the kind of scene people associate with intimacy. She smiled like everything was normal, like she hadn't built our life on deceit. I waited until dessert. Then I slid the envelope across the table. She looked at it, confused at first. Then she read. And I watched her soul fracture behind her eyes. Her lips parted. No words came, just air. A whimper, almost. "You don't have to explain," I said calmly. "You already did." Tears came. Not the kind born of guilt, but of exposure. Her hands trembled, pressing the paper flat as if that could rewrite it. My brother. Her lover. Their child. She reached for me. I stood. The next morning I went to see my brother. He looked nervous, as if some instinct warned him. I didn't yell, didn't accuse. I simply handed him the same envelope. He opened it, his face drained of color. Then I told him quietly, "The police called me first." He didn't understand at first. Then realization sank in. She'd left the boy at a park, told him to wait for me. A final attempt to pull me back, to force my hand through guilt. A child as a weapon. I left him sitting there, his hands shaking, his world collapsing. I moved out that night, packed nothing but the essentials. She called once. I let it ring. The boy was placed in foster care temporarily. I didn't contest it. He wasn't mine to save. Sometimes, in the quiet, I replay the night she looked at me over that candlelit table, when she realized that every lie she built had finally turned to ash. Revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just walking away with the truth, leaving them behind to burn in it. I never saw her again. But every time I pass a playground, I hear her voice in the distance, whispering the name that buried her. Liam.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.